We're finally getting to this black-white deck that I think we built the first draft of this on stream the same day that we trophied with Mardu. And there's just like so many different ways to build these black-based mid-range decks. Like you could be in on Nightmare, you could be in on just like the DRC, Flage, Bobble, Necrogoyf, which is something we did too. You could be on the scam cards, you could not, and we kind of ended up like in like several branching paths when we're building those decks. We built like a mono black scam deck with Nightmare and Grief and Flare of Malice, Supplier, Bloodghast, Phyrexian Tower, all these cards. We have the Marty list that we trophied with, and we also built this deck. The idea is that this is like a much better Guide of Souls mid-range deck than than Guide of Souls in the Marty in like the stock Marty list that have been going around. I really dislike Guide of Souls in that deck. You know, I built my version of Mardu. At the very least, I think Nethergoyf is better in that deck than Guide of Souls. But in this one, you are going a lot wider with Ocelot Pride, Ajani, Orcish Bowmasters, and you're making energy, and you're gaining life for Sorin, and you're making energy with Chthonian Nightmare. And so, like, Guide of Souls, like, just kind of ends up being an awesome card with this package of stuff, and I think is a lot weaker. Just with like the scam cards, just with Bowmasters, sometimes no Ajani, sometimes Ajani in these Marty lists, like I guess usually Ajani, but like getting to play Ocelot Pride, getting to play like the full 8 of these cards, Nightmare, Sorin, really maximizes the power of this card. Another thing too, kind of compared to other black-white scam lists that play Necro Dominance, we're just not doing that. Obviously, you could play Necro Dominance, but I think I just want to play Nightmare instead. Where Nightmare is like if you just draw a Nightmare, you always have something to do with your mana. Like you draw one copy of this card, and you basically never have unspent mana the rest of the game, which I think is pretty cool. And lets you keep the curve lower. Like if you played Necro Dominance, you'd want to play at least one more land, probably 2 more lands. It gets like a little bit, high on the curve, but obviously Necro Dominance is a pretty powerful card, but also maybe one that isn't like super well positioned for this meta. This is the entire dialogue tree we went over on Thursday, I think. Where it's like we have built this deck as the mono black Stitcher Supplier Bloodghast deck. We've built this as the Mardu Flage deck, and this is the Guide of Souls scam build with that gets to be a little bit more in on the Flipwalkers. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and take your 1-drop, take your Ajani. Just mono black with Necro Ring spell spikes, no Flage duty. Yeah, again, it's like you could do the mono black, Necro list with Ring and Soul Spikes and stuff, and it's just like these are just all different decks, chat. Boss with the 43, thank you so much. You're doing well. Drew my second Sorin's kind of a funny draw here. Rebrand can trigger Extort. Is Unearth redone when you play Nightmare? Unearth is bad, I think, when you have 4 Grief, 4 Solitude in your deck. But I guess I only have 3 Nightmares. I'd play the 4th Nightmare before the first Unearth, probably. So that's a good top deck for them. They hit a Lightning Bolt off the Amped Raptor. Interesting top deck. Get this back to block. Could have opened the Solitude. I think I would prefer to get Ocelot Pride going. And then I don't really mind so much if they kill the Ocelot. Although I'm kind of bummed I can't extort. Only playing 1 Phyrexian Tower. If they kill the Ocelot with the Rin and 6, it doesn't matter so much because I can just Nightmare it back, and then I could also Nightmare back Grief, maybe. The Ocelot plus Nightmare is also, I think, a pretty cool package. We haven't really gotten to explore very much. Bad Chef with the 14 months, thank you so much. See, Boros Energy list with 3 One Ring instead of like a couple of Static Prison Amulets seem nice. It's interesting. I kind of feel like the Ring is... Like, I would rather play Fable, I'd rather play Flage, I'd rather play Unstable Amulet. I mean... Like a cutting Amulet for Ring just kind of makes no sense, I think. Amulet, I think, is so much better than the Ring than that in that deck, but... That's okay. I like to see people branching out, trying different stuff. White card could be good. Bowmasters is certainly not bad. All right, let's get in at the Ren. Mostly just gaining an extra life here. Could have sacked the cat to extort, but I think I just want the extra tokens with my opponent's like ticking down every turn. I think I'm still going to kill the Amtraptor despite going after the Ren. It could be nicer because like they just go to minus one more time and they'll lose the Ren. I think this is probably okay. When Numbo Sanctifier Nightmare is concerned, I don't think it's that big a deal because like one thing is Sanctifier is an insane sideboard card at the moment. She's like very good against Prowess, Ruby Storm, and the other Nightmare decks, which are all pretty popular. And then it's like so with Nightmare in play, you can't return Bowmaster, Sorin, or Grief, but you still have like tons of other stuff to return. So I think it's just not that big a deal. But definitely worth talking about. So maybe we can sack the Bowmaster to Nightmare next turn and just ping the Step Links, although I guess they're going to have some fetch lands still up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 permanents. Yeah, I guess we're just going to scam. My deck that can live the 2-Orc Army Dream. What do you mean by the 2-Orc Army Dream? Like just having 2 Orc armies at the same time? Is this a deck that can do that? Am I missing something? What do you think of the biggest winners and losers thus far relative to my initial evaluations? So I've been getting this question a lot. Like people just kind of pop in, they're not able to watch a lot, and then they go, Spike, give me a quick summary of everything that's been going on. And I need to get better at this. I need to get better at having something for this question. But the answer is there's a lot that's going on. I've been going nonstop for like 3 weeks. Opinions are changing really quickly. Stuff is crazy. Stuff is exciting, and it's kind of tough to summarize very quickly for you. And I need to get a little bit better at this. Bring in a push, go down to Thoughtseize maybe. Seems okay. Nadu combo is very good. Ruby Storm is very good. I think the best card of Modern Horizons 3 is probably the new Ral. Nadu is super impressive. There are some decks that are good against it though. Jeskai, very good. Wizards, very good. The various Nightmare Shells, I think, are solid. So she gets Flare of Malice is very good against Nadu, and playing a lot of discard against Storm game 1 gives you some equity. The Mardu midrange deck we played has been very good. I think Mono Green Eldrazi, the deck that we played, the one in Phyrexian Tower has been a little awkward still. The Mono Green Eldrazi deck that we played last week, or I think it was like early last week. I think that deck is like big sleeper. I'm pretty sure someone top 8'd the showcase challenge with my list, which I think is pretty fun. I'm very always happy to hear that. I think that deck is very good. All right, I think I want to play the Guide of Souls this turn so I can get a nice 1-2 in play. I might Solitude their Ocelot if they like bolt my Guide of Souls. So yeah, there's just a lot going on. Could have extorted, but using Phyrexian Tower, Solitude, Pitch Portion. I see. Oh, double Ocelot Pride can get kind of scary. But thankfully they don't have a second land, or they also can't beat a 1-2. So I think I'm going to play my own Ocelot here, and then play Shadowy Backstreet. After all, what's wrong with taking the Backstreets? And then I'll... Second Ajani's probably pretty good here. Since next turn I might want to go Ajani, sack a cat, flip Ajani, play second Ajani, and I might also want to Solitude something this turn. My opponent hits a Ren in 6. Which is very good. M-Traptor's been very impressive too, I think. I should be able to kill it this turn at least. Yeah, I think I should probably just go Thoughtseize Ajani. Third Ocelot Pride is so scary. Spike, have there been any All-Stars in MH3 testing? I just went over like a... I don't know if this is... I just went over as much as I can in kind of a rambly way. But I do need to be a bit better about like answering this question quickly, I think, because we're getting it a lot and it is kind of tough to answer. Okay, so I'm gonna block here, and then am I going to Solitude Ocelot Pride to deny my opponent? So they say they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They only get one cat. Yeah, I don't think I'm. If they wake up with like land. Oh right, sorry, I gotta Solitude Ajani. Sorry, duh. It's fine. I think this is still the line. Just don't answer. I don't know. It's tough because I just definitely noticing this last week is just a lot of people popping in and they want like a very fast summary of everything that's going on, which is totally fair. But there's just so much going on. It's tough to give them that. Okay, we can play Bowmasters next turn. I think I want to get the second Ocelot Pride out of the hand, probably. But let's see what else is in there now. Lightning Bolt, huh? Spike is everything faster. Yeah, I mean, everyone, and Modern Horizons 2 was a set that was more geared towards interactive decks, fair decks, and MH3 has definitely been more geared towards linear strategies. Second Cat Token Nightmare Return Ocelot Pride, call that Revolver Ocelot. So we're going to lose our Ajani to the... Oh, I guess I could block with the Cat Token. I can double block. Yeah, let's double block. I'm going to keep my Ajani. I'm going to get rid of this. Seems like a win-win. No red permanent for Ajani's side. Yeah. I mean, Ajani's very good with red permanents, I agree. But Ajani's also still pretty good without it, and... Again, there's just a lot of ways to build these decks, and so this is simply one of them. I think I'm gonna main phase, kill an Ocelot so I can get in. Yeah, I think I can afford to get in with both of these. We have another Surveil land too we can get off the Marsh Flats. Put instead to my Flyers next turn. Can understand if those Boros interjects will stick in the long run or not. Some tournaments seem to do great or terribly. Yeah, so I mean, Boros is very weird because, like, I think Boros is so good in every fair matchup. In every fair matchup, Boros is incredible, and it struggles very much in the linear matchups and kind of is just trying to draw its sideboard cards in both sideboard games if you're not playing the Boom Busts. So, what do you think is going to be the most played deck in Amsterdam? It's kind of tough to say. I think the most played deck will probably be Nadu. And it's going to be kind of interesting, what that percentage ends up being. I think that most people are just going to probably play, I think that will be the most popular deck, and I would probably put Nadu at like maybe like less than 10% probably, but close to 10%, like in the 8-9% range. Obviously, just speculation, could be pretty off. That would be my guess. Merfolk has a good matchup against Nadu Storm Jessica. Yeah, I know Nikachu did well at the Energy series, right? I have a Merfolk build deck build that I want to play. I also have updated Mono White Hideaway. I have another Omniscience version of Shifting Woodland that kind of go to. I would like to run back the what's it called? The Eldrazi Affinity deck, because I do think there are less. I could block here, right? If they have a mutagenic growth, I just Solitude. I want to run back that Eldrazi Affinity deck because I just think it's like so sick and really has a lot of potential. Okay, so Shadowy Backstreet Thoughtseize or Bowmasters. I'm gonna Bowmasters. I think I think I might Bowmasters and Solitude. Yeah, let's Bowmasters and Solitude. This way I could just get my Guide of Souls out of Lightning Bolt range. And this is a lot more likely to be burned than Prowess with no Gigantha and Sacred Foundry. PT is this weekend. The Eldrazi 6-6 seemed to do really well for the weekend. Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to play that deck in the showcase this weekend. I was really excited. And then it was my best friend's 30th birthday party that I thought was on a different day. So I didn't get to play. Did have a fun time though. And okay, just crushing here. But yeah, I believe it top rated the showcase. I didn't really like look at many other results, but I'm happy to hear that it did well. Flage, huh? Seasoned Pyromancer is not a card I expected to see in this spot. Definitely keeping this. I can actually jump something else next turn because I can go Ajani, sack the cat, make a cat, and then that's 3 energy. Strix, 33 months. Thank you so much. So Bamzing does something kind of unhinged in a good way to like get people like what the deck lists are. He joins the showcase events and he's able to like watch the replays of games and he watches all like the top 8 matches to see what people were saying. And he said that the Eldrazi list that top 8'd the showcase was playing my list, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I like I think the mono green Eldrazi deck is awesome. I really want to play it in a tournament soon. Just haven't been able to. Okay, so they are going to be able to kill my Guide of Souls. I'm going to go ahead and sack this so they don't gain the life though. And then maybe we're going to lose to this Flage. I think I need to leave the tower up to sacrifice whatever they target with the Flage. The mono green list is in the Mox field. It's on YouTube. It's on Twitter. Cool build of Goryo's won the Laughing Dragon 20k. IDK about that. Just Guy Control say the win of it. Well, I mean, what was cool about the build of Goryo's? That's obviously the most important thing. Calamity's Wake, a Cyborg Tech versus Ruby and Living End. Magnus, thank you for the 5-pack. Thank you so much. If you got gifted stuff from Magnus, make sure to thank them. While I read Calamity's Wake. Okay, so I could. Let me see what the top card of my library is, because I have the ability to flip the Ajani or just sack the Ajani. Okay, that should be lethal. Because I can flicker my Bowmasters after blocks. Is it the Stompy video? Probably, yeah. I don't title my videos, but it should be the Eldrazi Stompy. Looks like Naughty and Jessica Control are the big winners from MH3. They are big winners. Ruby Storm, I think, for me is like I kind of think it's like I think it's a little bit better than Nadu. I think it's very close. It's kind of maybe changing from day to day. But it's kind of, I think it's like still a deck that's underrated in general. Just with how crazy it is. Okay, so we are on the draw here against Burn. I'm going to bring in my Sanctifiers as like largely anti-Flage tech. Okay, I'm bringing in the Fatal Push. Let's cut these Thoughtseizes. And this matchup should be great. We just have tons and tons of life gain. Chthonian Nightmare. Maybe Consigned Memories best cyber card against Ruby Storm. It isn't going at like just trying to counter their Grape Shot trigger it is not going to win you a game against Storm almost ever. It would be super, super, super rare for I counter your Grape Shot Storm trigger for that to win the game against Ruby Storm. It almost will never happen, and I really encourage you to find a different strategy. Are your video titles like 652 Mardu Scam.wave? I have an editor that handles all the YouTube titling and YouTube uploading. 2 Buried Alive to put 2 fatties and a priest of Felrights in the yard. Seems pretty slow. Oh, they boarded in their own Sanctifiers. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of awkward with their Phlages in the deck. Not gonna grief yet. I think Nadu's underrepresented in Moto due to clicks for the combo. Yeah, maybe. Maybe a little bit. So I could flip this Sorin by push extorting, grief extorting. I think instead I'm just going to keep my 1/4 lifelinker in play and like hardcast some griefs. Maybe hardcast 1, pitch 1, we'll see. Well, I'm glad my opponent did the sanctifying for me, huh? They are going after my Sorin, so that's pretty good news for someone who has a second sword in their hand, too. I agree the part of the deck is too slow. I believe that's replaying. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad. It just doesn't like necessarily strike me as like the solution for Goryo's in this very fast metagame. But it's interesting. I'm not I'm not saying that it is definitely good or definitely bad. Just that it is probably not something I would expect. Okay, so I guess we're gonna go Sorin, Grief, Ephemerate, and Extort. Yes, I would like to pay Magic Online. Not sure what I was doing wrong there. Barbarian Ring, kind of nice card for them to have still. Although I guess they're kind of far away from Threshold still. Second Sanctifier. No, I guess I'm just gonna Ephemerate my Sorin and Extort so I can still attack with the Grief. Oh, I guess that's not gonna be an issue either. Alright, so target the Sorin, extort ya. This is I guess they changed the interface, or maybe I'm just missing something. Nice. So now we get to go Ocelot Pride, extort. Yeah, it used to just auto pay. I don't know why it isn't anymore. Sanctifier seems not that good in their deck. I mean, it's not very good against us, but Sanctifier is a very good sideboard card in Modern at the moment. Oh, also, I think one thing that might surprise us about the Pro Tour is I think there's like a reasonable chance people end up playing a lot of like Rakdos Scam. That's probably like the main deck that isn't seeing a lot of like play on Magic Online. That will probably see a lot of play at the Pro Tour, I would guess. It's like Scam just tends to be very good in combo metagame. Scam with Nightmare. I don't know what like. I think it would be Scam with like mostly not that many MH3 cards. Is probably just kind of well positioned at the moment. 2040 though. But Mill, I hear it's great. I don't know. I don't think anybody will play Mill at the Pro Tour probably, but Mill is probably okay against like Storm and Nadu. So I don't know. Maybe I probably wouldn't. Maybe I wouldn't. But yeah, there's a chance that that's something you want to do. What are we doing here? I think Thoughtseize is gonna turn 1. Yeah, Pro Tour is this upcoming weekend. There has to be some number of people play Mill. I would guess there's going to be between 1 and 3, or 0 and 3 players play Mill at Pro Tour. I don't know. I remember like maybe I'm kind of biased, but when we tested Mill for like the last Pro Tour, it had like a 38% win rate or something. It was like really embarrassing. But it would be better now. I don't know. I think Scam can play Discharge or Bolter Pushes. Yeah, I mean you can do some small updates for sure. You don't think Red Black Scam lists will go Marty for Fillage? They might. Like again, I don't think they're going to be super duper different, but Yeah, obviously there's like, like this is all we've been talking about for last week is that there's a million ways to build these black decks. This is one of them. We have like three different versions of like Black Nightmare. We have Dimir with Satoro and Frog. We have like mono black combo with Warren Soul Trader, and we have mono black just kind of like fair value. That I think that one might just be even like the best one. Um, we have Mardu midrange with no scam that I think is very good. There's like this black white scam list that I think is pretty nice. You could play Rakdos with white splash, without a white splash. There's tons of stuff. I own only two Bowmasters. What would you play instead of this deck? I'm not sure. Play Nethergoyf. You could do what? You could play Nethergoyf. You could play Fourth Nightmare. You could play an extra removal spell. How many chances you say that team came up with an unknown deck that breaks the format? If it was going to happen at any event, it would be this Pro Tour. I think with the amount of eyes and the amount of deck builders looking at MH3, it seems unlikely, but possible. It seems very unlikely that anyone would play anything that's like a complete unknown quantity that just breaks the format and does everything. It seems very unlikely, but it would be very, very, very cool if it happened. That's always like the dream. You know what I mean? I guess I don't know. It's probably a little too late to put up the hand hider. I've been I need to start during the 30-second hand keep time. Maybe just not having my hand up here. I don't know, but it's okay. I'm gonna Thoughtseize them and then we'll see what's going on. Allure and Acerec maybe. I mean, the Primal Prayers combo decks have been so bad, and also everyone just always goes Acerec, but um, everyone talks about that one, but I don't know. Okay, so they have both a Birthing Ritual and a Chthonian Nightmare. The Ritual seems to be the better card here. Maybe consider making an analysis of PT Decklist and published. I could consider it. I think at the moment I am pretty interested in. So yeah, I guess we'll go Sorin this turn with the intention to Guide of Souls Ajani and then attack with the Sorin to gain a life and then flip the Sorin, maybe kill the halfling, maybe not. I could also jump the Sorin. I could like -5 damage to them. Is this Yogg? Probably. I think the Yogg lists are starting to get a little bit more tuned. Okay, so they Graveyard a Wall of Roots. So their hand is Young Wolf, Bowmasters, Nightmare Mystery card. Guess I should have played Delta. Yeah, let's save our energy. Oh, sorry, I don't. Sorry. For some reason, I thought because I was getting 3 life, I would have the 3 energy this turn. Obviously, would not. I wonder if we're supposed to try to like. No, I'm just gonna kill the halfling. I'll take the One Ring will be on the winning list of PT, and a domino effect will happen, causing every deck to play the One Ring. This is kind of a silly thought, I think. Where the best 3 decks in the format at the moment, I think, are Nadu, Ruby Storm, and Living End. And none of these decks play the One Ring, and none of these decks, I think, should play the One Ring. And so sometimes it feels like it can be kind of easy to like type something like this because you hate the ring and you really don't like the card, which is fair. But this sounds very, very detached from what I perceive reality in Modern to be. Alright, so jump in this. I think I might just like deal 2 damage to my opponent here. No, then they can Bowmaster my Sorin. I'll just make a food. What Titan? I think Titan can be pretty good. Yeah. Nadu with Ring ain't bad. I think the Ring in Nadu is kind of suboptimal, but it's obviously a fine card you can play. If I was going to register a Nadu deck at the Pro Tour, I probably would have 0 copies of the Ring. Why no extort? I did extort. I think I cast Ephemerate. I extorted. I played this tapped. I did extort. That would be $5 a month for the rest of your life. How's Sorin been feeling? I've been liking Sorin. We only have 2 copies in this list because you kind of don't want to draw a second copy almost ever. But I think you want to draw the first one, at some point. Mono Black Emperor. Yeah, Emperor of Bones is not a card I have played yet. Grave Titan is a card that should never be in your modern deck. As soon as this has entered your modern deck list, you have made a mistake. So I keep seeing these lists that are like, I'm going to play Emperor of Bones to get back my Archon of Cruelty. But why are we doing this instead of just putting the card Persist in our deck? I still don't understand. So we can at least Sorin for 4 damage here. Oh, they just concede? Okay. They were dead this turn, I think. So, the card Persist to me looks stronger than the card Emperor of Bones. And also, so I get that the Thran Vigil doesn't have a combo. It's like, you get a counter when you cookbook stuff, but, I would like to maybe try to have, Agatha's Soul Cauldron over Thran Vigil, potentially, as, this, counter enabler for Emperor of Bones if I was going to play it. I had 11 points. Okay, I didn't realize I had that much. A little bit too busy deck teching. Okay, so we're going to bring in the Damping Matrix and the Fatal Push. Going to cut the Ocelot Prides, I think. They could secretly be kind of good. Nah, I guess the Delighted Halfling Bowmaster deck. It's a tough sell, but I have been really enjoying this card. Okay, looks like we're getting Visual Bug. I believe that the Pride should be sideboarded out, in actuality. Emperor Tux Ulamog and lets it see herself for 17/17 Annihilator 10. I mean, I like that. So that's kind of my question here is why are we not doing that with Emperor of Bones? How did we end up on playing a bad mono black reanimator deck? The card Persist is better than the card Emperor of Bones, I think, and this is a lot of Buried Alives. Well, the Buried Alive is very cool in this list. I certainly agree that Buried Alive is very cool in this deck. We are sure playing a lot of them as something that's mostly put an Archon, put a Bloodghast, put a Daredevil in the yard is pretty cool. But I don't know. I think if you want to play Emperor of Bones, you should try to play Ulamog over Archon of Cruelty, and you should try to play Agatha's Soul Cauldron over Thran Vigil, and try to play a little bit more synergy with that Archon of Cruelty, I think. Alright, so just play a Sword and pass. And play Nihil Spellbomb over Scrabbling Claws. Never register Grave Tyrant. Strongly consider a Green Splash, where Green Splash will let you answer a lot of sideboard hate cards for your graveyard. And then you can also play Shifting Woodland, and Shifting Woodland to copy. I guess way better to copy Archon than Ulamog. But if you want to stick to Archon, Shifting Woodland to copy Archon, it can be pretty nice. Someone has a blue-black list that you're describing. Yeah, I've seen them. Have the new Titans just been awful? I see no one playing them. The new Ulamog is good in the Through the Breach deck specifically because of because of the weird stuff that's going on there. It'll be a lot worse than Curse Totem, but just stop saying you cannot Yogg combo me. I will Solitude Ephemerate you out of the game. Seems kind of nice. Does Thran Vigil let Emperor get every creature back? Is that the combo? Yeah, I don't know. Kind of interesting. VNR announcement, no changes. Okay, that's good. Obviously, they said they were not going to do anything in the context of Modern. It still feels a little early to do anything in Modern. We're still very early to this metagame, although Nadu has raised some early concerns. It appears the modern format has proven tools to fight it, with results of modern leagues and challenges starting to stabilize over the last few days, continues to adapt. The rise of spell-based combo Ruby Storm and Ruby Demo and Ralph from modern blah blah blah. Notable addition. Fights Nadu by typically being a full turn faster. Similar as reason popularity, yeah. Definitely the top 2 decks. Eldrazi Tron, Mardu Midrange. Mono Black Necro Dominance, Cruel Prowess, Espergoris, Ismurk Tide, Azura's Control, Bant Nadu, Boros Burner, all different decks that have won Magic Online challenges since the release of Modern Horizons 3. Yeah, I think things are like relatively good with like gameplay against Nadu being pretty miserable, and we have to see like what Nadu win rates are like overall, but they seem pretty high. Well, I wonder if I'm supposed to like hardcast Solitude and then Ephemerate both. Probably not. I'm probably supposed to ultimate or flip the Sorin. Alright, so let's flip the Sorin. So we're gonna go evoke Solitude. Extort. Mess up the user interface for extorting every time. I'm gonna go for the Wall of Roots first because my opponent has Cord. I want them to be pressured to Cord down. Is it using challenge results just bad statistics? I don't know. Like, it's kind of like the only tournament data we have, and it does not give you a complete picture, but it's like, you know, some of the most relevant data we have, isn't it? So presumably they're going to Cord for 3 here. So they have a Rex Sage for the Damping Matrix. It's pretty good. So we flip the Sorin. And then I think I'm just going to kill the Young Wolf. They have more data than they don't share? Yeah, of course. But, I don't know. It's... people, I don't know. It's just like mentioning the challenge data is like a relevant thing to mention, but that's not the whole that's not everything they said in the article. But people love to like, oh, they said turn 4 format on this Splinter Twin announcement 1,000 years ago. They just like hyperanalyze on like one specific line and like one article, you know. Okay, this is bad. They almost shared it and wants to lock down real quick. So is that what happened with Daybreak trying to share all the stuff? Wizards stopped it. Redbeard, 11 months. Thank you. Welcome back. All right, it's gonna be a tough one. Need like another Solitude, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'll take a push plus channel Takenuma, get back a Solitude, I guess. We're gonna play, get to play Felia, Raptor Blade, so we can put powerful. I think Stoneforge has any future in Energy Shells. I don't know. I don't think Stoneforge is a very good card, unfortunately. She's okay. She's like somewhat playable. Felia has also been a card that I've been unfortunately exceedingly disappointed by, and or sorry, I think I said Felia. I meant Layla. Layla has been a card I've been exceedingly disappointed by, and maybe there's a shell for it, and like I'm sure she can look good some games, but I am really not trying to like include that card in a deck list at the moment. Yeah, sack Yogg for Yogg is good because of Cauldron, right? Yeah, I think the Flicker Dog is good, but the 3-mana red creature that attacks Exil's top card, that is the card I'm trying to say is bad. Okay. So they bring back the Young Wolf, and then also bring back Yogg. How big is Assassin's Creed? You said 100 cards in your video. There's 308 on Scryfall. I think that there are 80 straight unique to modern cards, which is like what I saw on Scryfall. So I believe that there are several like reprinted cards, but I think there are 80 unique cards that are coming to modern. Oh, you said Felia. Okay, sorry. Then that was my confusion. Yeah, Felia is good. Felia is good for sure. And I don't think Stoneforge is bad, but it's just like there are so many really, really good 2-drops you could be playing that I think are in general higher card quality. Okay, so they're going after my food token instead of bringing back the Yogg, which is like interesting. Let's see what they do with the birthing ritual. Oh, they just find a Yogg. Okay, well. So their hand is Chthonian Nightmare, 2 mystery cards. I think I just have to Solitude the Young Wolf. Which maybe doesn't do anything, but also Solitude the Yogg doesn't really do anything. 110 cards in Assassin's Creed, 29 are illegal monarch. Okay. So if I Solitude the Yogg, they can sack token, Nightmare, bring back Yogg. If I Solitude Young Wolf, they sack token, bring back Young Wolf. So I guess the line is maybe Solitude Yogg block one Young Wolf. If I Solitude Yogg and they kill it with the abilities, that's kind of also okay because they're not Nightmaring. Seems like this will be a tough game to win. We're going to MXPLA. I don't know what that is, but no, I'm not going. So I can sack a food, hit them for 3. I mean, if my opponent doesn't kill the Solitude, I get to like attack, and then I get to that's 2 more damage for my Sorin minus, which is something. 20k modern interpret. We give yeah. I'm just like not in the space where I'm wanting to like travel to California for like just a weekend tournament. You know, I would just rather stream like a challenge and then play D&D. Okay, so they let the Yawgmoth get exiled. Obviously, need a top deck some kind of really impactful spell. Hoping to not see. Yeah, that's definitely what I was hoping to not see. Well then. Yeah, I think I just gotta blast them for 4 damage. And then probably take this to game 3. Nightmare looking really good in Yogg. Wonder if it's better in Cauldron. Yeah. The Yawgmoth is so hard to build with like Phyrexian Tower, Birthing Ritual, Nightmare, Flare of Cultivation, Marionette. Could play the Warren Soul Trader combo. There's just like so much. I kind of want to do green black with the Warren Soul Trader combo over the Yogg combo with Birthing Ritual to dig for it. Yeah, we saw the BNR. But the Abrupt Decayed my Sorin? Interesting. Warren Sword Trader is cool. Apprentice Marionette and our Marionette Apprentice and then Gravecrawler deals them 2 damage for each 1 damage you take, so you almost is always lethal. So fortunately don't have 1 more energy to try to get him here. But my life total is pretty high, and then it'll be interesting. Like the Bowmasters is worth like exactly 2 damage or maybe 3 damage if you count the life it takes to kill the Bowmasters. So when I go for the Bowmasters is going to be kind of interesting. I think I'd probably want them to try to get themselves a little bit lower first, if possible. I got 26 life points. Let's use them. Any more luck brewing with Arclight Phoenix, Sneaky Snacker? I don't think I ever put those two cards together in the same deck. I did play Sneaky Snacker a little bit. I thought it was kind of cool where it stacked to both flares, but at the moment I'm not like crazy about that card. So they get back the Hapatra. Kind of surprised my opponent just didn't activate Yogg at all. Secker's getting a ton of popper play. Maybe, I don't know. So we get kind of punished. For not playing the Bowmaster at a turn. It's pretty interesting how cautiously my opponent's playing. So I think I'm chumping Hapatra with the, or try to trade Hapatra with the Orc Army. That would be 2/2. Oh, they're gonna block, or they're gonna do this first. They're at 6, but it's also down to like 8 minutes 45. So game 3 to play. So I'm not sure what we're gonna play next. This deck is pretty nice though. I think we'll do Mono White Hideaway. Updated Mono White Hideaway next. But lets themselves go down to 2. 9 cards in hand though. I mean, I'm assuming there's a Blood Earth in the deck, but see, if it's Zulborg Cutthroat for some reason, it'd be nice. Innkeeper's over. Yeah, I guess they just maybe put Innkeeper and Marionette, huh? We tried to Mana Cymrical. Yeah, I built a Mana Cymrical deck for the paper testing with Dingo, and it went really well. Then we played one league with it on stream and went 4-1, and I've been wanting to play some more of it. And then there's also just like the Tron version, which might be better than my build. Yeah. So I'll be nice and no combo clicking through here. I think I like our sideboard plan. Let's go to game 3 on the play. Yeah, 4 Innkeeper is cool. I think I like it. Yeah, I saw that Nikachu won the Energy. I haven't actually seen his deck list. Or I saw that he made the finals. I didn't actually see that he won. That's cool that he won. I'm gonna keep. Try to choose Surveillance to a black card. Might turn 3 Grief Scam. Nikachu won the Pioneer thing with Merfolk? No, wait. I ran into the wrong metagame with Pioneer Merfolk Energy Series. I think this may be for like a Sunday event or something. Nikachu, where Decklist? There it is. Thank you, Nikachu. So 3/3 split of Flare and Force. I don't really understand like why Dockhand is like suddenly back after seeing like no play or very little play in MH2 season. It's interesting. No black card. Hardcast Grief next turn maybe. Is very good in the semifinals. Yeah, I just think it's interesting because like the card like I think most Merfolk players just didn't think this card was playable. It's a lot of Harbinger of the Tides in the sideboard. All the Tidebinders on the side is kind of interesting too. Very cool list. Good job, Nikachu. Okay, so let's Hard cast a Grief here. Do 2 lands per turn and surveil the lands into the yard, unfortunately for us. Could take up Ajani. It's maybe a little unhinged. So take Messenger this turn. Ephemerate Grief, take the Yogg. Play a lot of Curse Catcher every second. Yeah, I guess like the floor on a 1-mana Merfolk is not so low. They really can't cast Draw Off. They have a Twilight Mire in play, which does let them cast Draw Off. So they are going to sack the Hapatra. They find an Apprentice Marionette. I draw another land. I'm going to plus the Ajani after casting this. So I guess I should surveil before I hit them with the Grief, right? Nightmare should be good enough to keep. It's like obviously a little weird here. I can like sack Ajani, sack Grief, flicker both of them. Even just like, I don't know. Can do some weird stuff. They put another Yogg in their yard, so glad we didn't main phase this. Not that there was really any reason to, except maybe like scared of some kind of instant speed removal. Might get the ultimate Ajani this next turn too, depending on what their board looks like. Right now makes them sack 2 creatures, then I could also just like flip the other Ajani potentially. Plussing on Ajani seems pretty good. See what happens with the Birthing Ritual. They found the 3rd Yogg in the top 7. It's kind of unfortunate. So, am I just supposed to ultimate Ajani now? If I ultimate Ajani, my opponent is going to do what? They're going to kill a cat, and they're going to go down to 8. And then my other Ajani will flip. And then I can buy back. Okay, let's start off with this. I don't think I've ever ultimated Ajani yet. What's the benefit of surveilling before seeing their hand with the Grief Ephemerate? We get to just make the best decision on what to take. Like if we see an answer to like a play that they have in their hand, we could just choose to leave them with like one specific thing. Okay, so they're going after my Grief. I can sack the Grief here. That might be worse than like flipping the Ajani. Obviously, I get to deny a card, which is something too. But I didn't bring Sanctifier. Maybe I should have, huh? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Because I think I'm just kind of okay. If they block Ajani and they go to 2, then being at 2 puts them in just such a tough position. And if they block a cat, I get to flip Ajani and I get to return this Ajani and then also return this Grief. So flip Adelphia, keep this one. There's now a new Ajani in the yard. So I can go make a cat, return Ajani, or I can go sack them plus. Which is better. Notably, I can use the Nightmare 2 more times. So I can go make a cat, return Ajani, sack Ajani, get back a Grief. Then sack a cat, get back Ajani. It's so weird. Okay, sack this, get back Ajani. Make a cat, sack a cat, get back Grief. Flip Ajani. I guess we... So I'm gonna get back Grief, sack Cat, flip this Ajani. Kind of wheel spinny. And then yeah, make a cat. I wonder if it's better for me to return sack the Grief to get back this Ajani, because then when I plus this next turn, I get the extra power. But I guess it doesn't really make any sense because this is just a 3/2 menace versus a 3/2 cat next turn. Wait, you got one card in your hand. You're at 3 life points. Your turn. Ball of Gondolin, 23 months. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you. Yeah, what I love about Nightmare, like this deck has some issues flooding, but if you just draw one Chthonian Nightmare, you just have something to do with your mana in the mid to late game every single turn. I feel like there was maybe a better way to do this turn, but it was okay. Kind of weird turn. Well, then it's land in hand, and then they also have their draw step, of course. The forest was the card they had, right? Yeah. You could add one more cat if you sacked Ajani to Nightmare. Is that true? Because I zeroed the Ajani to make a cat, so... Is that true? It might be. This deck feels its best when it's going wide. I wonder if Flage, Ragavan, Bolt are better than Grief Solitude package. For me, this deck is unplayable without the Grief Solitude package. It's like... In order to have time to do this, like, dirtily go-wide stuff, like, you need the Solitude Ephemerate stuff, and so... We've built... This is the exact line of thought we had with the Mardu deck that we built. That is just not playing a lot of this stuff and is cutting the scams cards, but playing Thoughtseize, Inquisition, Dragon's Channeler, Bobble, Nethergoyf. Still playing Ajani, focusing more on the red permanent aspect of Ajani there rather than the cat synergies. It's hard to do both. But I think it's just a different deck. What in the world is this? Chord for 2 without tapping the Yogg. For an Orcish Bowmasters. Target a cat. I will not flip the Ajani. They get a Young Wolf. So if I plus the Ajani, I can make my opponent go to 1 life point here. That's probably going to be worth. But yeah, we've had this whole dialogue here. There's like so many ways to build these black decks, and they're all just different decks, I think. It's my current thinking. Yeah, they have to double block Grief, and they have to block the cat. So this is not going to end up working. Yeah, when you get Yogg to 1, it's always so tough. So what am I missing about this block? Because if they shrink a Grief, they're going -1 life for -1 thing. Oh, they get to kill the Grief is what I'm missing, duh. Duh. I mean, I can double discard spell. So I get to go Thoughtseize, and I get to Nightmare back my Grief. I think I'm gonna sack cat token, bring back Ajani, since 2 lethal creatures better than 1 lethal creatures. Close game. Puts on 2 minutes on the clock too. They're at 1 life. Always kind of tough to do stuff at 1 life. It's Yogg. That's a black-white scam Necro. I think that's a fine way to build the deck. For me, it's like Necro is kind of slow in this format where you're kind of like expecting to die on turn 3 a lot of the time. And if another Bowmasters. So I should just be able to ultimate this Ajani for the win, right? Let me just play this turn real quick. Yeah, it seems like I should just ult. So I think you can play Necro. I think it's fine. I'm kind of in on Nightmare over Necro in this deck, where it has like a lot of cool synergies. I think it's very good with Ocelot Pride, Guide of Souls, Ajani, Bowmaster, Sorin, even Grief Solitude. It lets you play a lower land count also. Like if I had Necro Dominance in my deck, I would want 23 lands probably. So it's kind of tough to like find room. But you could do something like -3 Nightmare, -2 Sorin, +2 lands, +4 Necro, make one other cut. That'd be fine. But I've been liking the Nightmare so far. Okay, so we are 3-0 in our first league with this deck. Let's go ahead and get a prediction going. And I think I'm going to click the keep button and not love it. Might even want to surveil on turn 1, because if I can just get like a creature of the yard, it's like so sick. My opponent's revealed a Devourer of Destiny. I think I'm going to go for the surveil plan. With Energy Modern playable, is Cottage for Emrakul after Buried Aliving it and casting it with Marvel. Or Gorya's good. Besiege for Marvel redundancy. Cottage for Emrakul after Buried Aliving it. So, Emrakul the Promised End, I'm assuming, because you can't, or the new other Emrakul, not Emrakul the Aeon's Torn. But it's like if you spend your turn Buried Aliving, like you're not gonna have mana to or you're not gonna have the energy to spin Marvel on turn 4. It's like basically impossible. Right, pack our Damping Spheres. Koro, the 4 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Second Bowmasters. Tron seems like a rough matchup. Yeah, probably. We get Challied. It's pretty bad for me. Punish for the Surveil line. Alright, so let's Surveil first, see if we find anything like super sweet to do with our Nightmare. Yeah, just gonna Bowmaster them, get as aggressive as I can, hope they're in on the One Ring, maybe Kozilek's Command, although maybe not hoping for that. It's pretty good. Crow with the 4, Andy with the 19, appreciate ya. GG's Possum. Well, that was kind of like a draw. I don't know if I would say the draw. I guess it's better for me. I was thinking I could like return Sora and sack this. Well, maybe I should still do that. Just sack the Bowmaster instead. It does feel like it'll be a stretch to win this game. They'll have to be super flooded. How's it feeling compared to Mardu Midrange? It's pretty different. Or I don't know. Maybe not. But I like Mardu and I like this deck, and there's just again almost an unlimited amount of ways you can build these black base mid range decks at the moment. Gonna Chalice on 2. Yeah, Natural Tron. I don't know. Do you consider Devour of Destiny natural? Maybe you could. Can't you Witch's Cottage in response to Emrakul trigger to put on top then? Well, not really so well with Buried Alive. The suggestion was Buried Alive for Emrakul and then put it on top. But this didn't seem like something that made a lot of sense, I guess. That's a lot of luck pieces. Okay, I will go to game 2. I will put 4 Damping Spheres here. I'll cut 2 push to Solitude, maybe? I guess I can cut them with these Lorens also. Do I win any Solitudes? I don't think so. I can just, like, Guide of Souls, jump over stuff. So maybe I'll cut a Nightmare also. Well, I'll keep a Grief Scam. When it's on the Mold to 6. Mold to 5. You don't want to sack Solitude or responsibility. You cannot do that. But I would want to, for sure. So they did reveal a Devourer of Destiny. Hopefully they have a... at least 2 spells, okay. Alright, I take this, I take this. Could actually be better for me to take the Devourer if I think they put a Ugin's Labyrinth on top. Or they will put Ugin's Labyrinth on top, but probably just better to take the best 2 spells. Any chance Brain Surge enables Aether Mage's Touch? Probably not on this channel. It's like that's 7 mana the cheetah creature to play that you still need to ephemerate the creature a lot of the time versus just creativity. Okay, so they exiled a One Ring, a Trinisphere, and an All-Is Dust, and they did find the Ugin's Labyrinth. Okay, so now we will not rebound, since we know that they just have Eldrazi Temple and Power Plant as their 2 cards. Nice to draw on Ajani. And they're under a good amount of pressure. I played New Sorin alongside Necrodominance. I think that my builds were... I was playing Nourishing Shoal Autocron Worm, and I think that the new builds that just aren't doing that are probably better. If I was going to play the deck, I would have, like, Ring Necro Profane Tutor probably and be a mono black. And play 4 Soul Spike, 4 Sorin. We did play a Brain Surge deck, taking turns Brain Surge deck that was super duper fun and super duper mid. How's Ajani? Ajani's an incredible card. Been very, very good across several different deck lists. They have a Kozilek's Command off the top. Be pretty annoying. Prefer mid-range decks over control aggro. I have no archetype preferences as a player. I just build decks. Pretty good top deck. Kind of the best top deck, if I'm going to be honest. They keep a card on top too. The Rise of Ajani, any other cats on your radar outside of Ocelot? I mean, there are some other playable cats, like the Nacatl, Brawler, Loam Lion, or whichever one, like the 101 that landfalls. None of those are good cards, though, and you should probably just not have them in your deck. So I guess they kept another Kozilek's Command. I just build decks. I love this. Have I gone to any larger competitive events? Yeah, I played events too. But I just don't have, like, an archetype preference. I just like to build decks, and I like to see them do well, and that's it, really. As far as, like, I'm not someone that considers myself to have a big preference towards control, mid-range, aggro combo. I think a lot of people maybe think I have a big preference towards combo because I build a lot of complicated combo decks, but I mostly do that because a lot of the simple ideas are just, like, overexplored or just, you know, nothing to figure out. Let me see sometimes. Yeah, I don't really understand people who dislike Kolaghan's Command or Kozilek's Command. Or either. The card is just bananas. Okay, the opponent is you're supposed to sack your spawns here. Because it's just a free extra scry too. But obviously they still have a ton of mana despite, you know, being Damping Sphere because of the Kozilek's Command. Deckcraft Barter Midrange because of theory crafting. It's my favorite deck to build and play since it's more. Yeah, that was definitely a very fun stream, just sitting down and working on the black decks. You really want to cast a 12 drop next turn? Well, they won't be able to because we have the Damping Sphere. They do keep a card on the top. How good was the Flame Scroll Tech and Boros? So we played one league with that Boros deck with Flame Scroll Celebrant. We went 4-1. We didn't play against Storm or Living End or Nadu the whole time, but like the Boros deck still felt very good despite having 4 Flame Scroll Celebrants in the main, which I kind of think is like an interesting... And it's an interesting thing about the deck that it still is like pretty capable of winning and capable of being good despite... Okay, so they kept a Devourer of Destiny. I like that it's a deck that's like very... Or they go after Ajani over Grief is interesting. So Keep losing my train of thought. So it's like the idea is that you main deck the Flame Scrolls so that you're better against combo, and you board them out against like every other matchup almost. And I felt like a kind of an interesting way to approach the deck. Maybe throw in some Flages. You could play Flage. Void Pointer 8 months. Thank you. Welcome back. We tested Storm with DRC yet. Yeah, I've only ever had. I've played a ton of Storm on the channel, and I've always had 4 Dragon Rages channelers, and I'm a big fan of Channeler and Storm. I would definitely play it if I was going to play Storm still. I did update my list. I think it's in the Mox field. I don't know if when or if we'll play it anytime soon. So liking White Hideaway. I think I am liking it. Yeah, I updated the deck list, and I'm wanting to play some of it today, probably next. I think that Moonshaker Cavalry is maybe like just like a lot better than Emrakul. I started to like kind of talk myself into it because it kind of seems kind of difficult to not kill them with the Moonshaker Cavalry, and then the fact that it's also like pitchable to Flare of or Force of Virtue, I think is pretty cool. And I might just be talking. There's another reason too. Can't recall. Okay, Sorin. Does streamer do you just choose certain arts for cards or play whatever? It kind of depends on how much like prep time I have. On mornings, like when I'm really on top of it and I like know what I'm playing the next day, then I do usually spend some time to curate the arts. And on days like today where I had a pretty busy weekend and I'm running behind, I just don't have time usually. Should try Cavalry, see how it feels. Yeah, that's the plan. That is the plan. But I think it's going to win the game to a very similar degree that Emrakul wins you the game, while also being pitchable to. Okay. Oh wait, so it's my wrong account. But also being pitchable to Force. But I could swear there was like one other reason to play the card, but maybe I'm just misremembering. Oh, it's that Turntimber Symbiosis. It's actually like if you hit Turntimber Symbiosis off of your Collector's Cage or Whimper's Kites, you would rather hit a Moonshaker Cavalry than an Emrakul. That was the other thing about this card. I thought about playing one more. So what did they get? They get a ring. I'm gonna thin. Bit of Necrodominance. I'm not seeing the card except for Necrodominance is fine. I think it's kind of a poorly positioned card where there's like a good amount of Bowmasters in addition to a lot of decks that are just killing you turn 3. I do want to play more Necrodominance. I want to kind of work on the Mono Black Sorin list some more. So I was trying to think if there's like any reason to attack here. It doesn't really seem like there is. So I'm just going to draw step Ephemerate, I think. Yeah, we saw the no changes. 4 Emrakul, 2 Moonshaker, 4 Angel Maker land. Okay, so the Angel Maker land is like completely non-negotiable. It's like obviously always in the deck, but if you're saying play like, I'm not going to go down to 16 lands. Like this deck can afford a couple colorless utility lands. Turntimber Symbiosis I think is the best one, but cutting lands for more hits I don't think is good. And I'm also thinking that Moonshaker Cavalry is better than Emrakul. One, of course, because you can pitch it to Force, but also like if you were gonna like I guess you're cutting the Turntimbers, then that makes sense. But you can't cut Turntimbers for more big hits. Like it's nice that it's a land that's a hit, but you need to play like 18 lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, huh? I guess I might just leave them with this ring. Attack with Grief and token on Karn to force them to double block Grief or lose Karn. Well, they'll. I guess they'll lose both spawns if I do that. I thought about that for some reason. I thought that this was worse, but I guess not. But they would just block here and then double block the Grief, I think. Or I guess they could go one less. Yeah, would have worked out a lot better. Lots of reconnaissance once Assassin's Creed releases. I think that, like, I don't know if there is anything to that card. Oh, they just wait. All right, sorry. I don't know if there's any, like, is there any, like, combo with that card that I'm not understanding? Might be missing something. But it doesn't seem very good. Good with Nadu. I mean, yeah, this combo with Nadu, but you have to attack with the creature, and so it seems like, and it's white, so it's like significantly worse than Shuko. So like, could it actually make the cut in a Nadu deck? I would expect not, but maybe I'm wrong. What decks is Draenith Magistrate good against? Question mark. Storm and Living End. Yeah, Exploit does go through the ring, which is why I left them with the ring. We're gonna try to get him. Need to draw a spell. I'm not sure exactly which spell though. It's this spell. This was the spell. We go after the cookbook to stop them from gaining life, and then I'll attack the card with both of my things. And probably still lose this game. Does it stop Grape Shot? I don't know why everyone's so obsessed with stopping Grape Shot, but they don't play Grape Shot in the deck. They play it as like a wish target. So it stops it from wishing for it. It stops Pass and Flames. It stops all of the play cards from XL cards. And notably, it stops them from digging for like a Static Prison with their like Rin's Resolves and stuff. They have to, have drawn it naturally. Okay, so kill a spawn. Karn goes to 2. I don't know what they're gonna get off the Karn. They go back up to 8, then down to 7. Still not in fantastic shape. See what happens. Stop Rin's Resolve and pulls cards something by itself. I mean, I don't know if I would agree enough by itself, but yeah, it's a combination of like Pass and Flames, Wish, Rin's Resolve, Impulse, all this. What's the best non-Storm Ral deck? There isn't one. Ral is like just a Storm card, I think. I think trying to even figure that out doesn't make any sense, because what does Ral want you to do? Cast 6 instants and sorceries in the same turn? What is the best deck to do that? Storm. It's like, as soon as you do that in a non-Storm deck, you're like, oh dang, I wish I was playing Storm. I'm playing Damping Sphere over White Orchid Phantom in the side of this list because of the Storm matchup. But maybe we should be on. I mean, Phantom would be a lot better in this matchup, so I don't know. My opponent gets another copy of the ring. I think that's good news for me. Well, I'm not sure when did this Allah's Dust get revealed. Oh, that's an exile from their Devourer. Bowmaster would be an awesome pickup here. It's like a realistic avenue to victory. And my opponent messes up on the Chalice of the Void because of the Damping Sphere, so that's something too. They get to attack because they have pro everything. Especially with the Lauren, the Bowmaster would be like almost just lethal. So I can't draw another card now. I can Thoughtseize and Extort. Could maybe save the Thoughtseize for next turn, but I think with the Damping Sphere in play, I just kind of use my mana. And then also, if I draw a Bowmaster, they got 5, and then Bowmaster is worth 2, and then it gets them for 2 more. So yeah, it is lethal if I draw it off the Lauren in response to their ring activation. 10% chance. Well, didn't draw it. Not yet, at least. These several cards you grab for Naughty of the Mentors. I mean, you have to tell me what deck you're playing, I guess. I think I'm supposed to channel this Takenuma. We do miss. We're still standing. Channel take looking for Bowmaster instant speed. Yeah, let's main phase so if we miss, we're not just dead. I think. Let's main phase just so we have a chance to win still. My opponent didn't tap ring end of turn. So one thing about Nadu is it's like Harshminter is kind of like the only card that is really, really, really tough for them to beat. Like for the most part, you want to be like if you're either playing a deck that's faster than them, so you're playing Ruby Storm, you're playing a deck that can like power out Karn the Great Crater Storm Shuko, power out Trinisphere, you know, like you want to play a deck like this to power out like some lock pieces and like, you know, Karn kind of lines up well against them incidentally, which is good. Or you're gonna want to play like Wrath Disguise, Flame of Venor, Flare of Malice in your deck. So like you have to kind of have one of these strategies. So, unfortunately, I can't Grief and Nightmare this turn because of my own Damping Sphere. Eternal, 2 months. Are you playing the new DLC? How do you like it? I've been playing it. It has been very hard. I don't know. I'm still like I maybe like 5 hours into the DLC and it is okay. I think at the moment I am still chewing on it, still formulating my opinion. Thoughts on Ingus against Nadu? I think my thoughts are that it's like clearly worse than Harsh Mentor, and you could play it as like the 5th Harsh Mentor if you wanted 5 sideboard cards for it, but it is it seems certainly worse than Harsh Mentor. Needle for Shuko, not enough impacts. Yeah, they can just chord for the 2/3, or they can chord for an answer to it. But like, so like if you're playing an Urza Saga deck, a main deck Pithing Needle does go a long way towards helping you beat Nadu. I think someone redeemed deck tech. If I miss it, oh, I didn't see that. Let me scroll up a bit. Okay, I did miss it. Thank you. Okay, deck tech for Corvin. We're dead. So finish this. We did not trophy this league. Let's get a 4-1 prediction going. Okay, I'm going to keep this hand. I love having this card in my opening hand. And so, I don't know, these control deck techs are kind of tough, where there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of really reasonable deck building decisions that just take a lot of nuance. I don't think I love the Essence Reliquary in this deck. It's like okay with Solitude. It is good with the ring. It's good with Flage, but it's just kind of like it's just a little slow in this deck. Like I like Essence Reliquary where it's like the top of the curve, if that makes sense. Like when it's the top of your mana curve, I think it ends up performing pretty well. Where you like it to bounce a bunch of 2-drops for value and stuff, but when you're bouncing like 4 drops, I think it gets a little bit dicey for me, I guess. The Jeskai mana I think is too bad to support an Arena of Glory. Also, I also don't think you should play Bonamo in Jeskai. I think your mana requirements are so rough. I just don't want to play these cards. You can find the Mox field for how I would build the mana base for Jeskai. But I think that these are a little bit too greedy to include, is my current thinking. Opinion on that could change. I would really want to play the second Prismatic Ending. I would really want to play the second Spell Snare. I think you don't have to main deck Force of Negation. I don't know that I would play the second Teferi. If you have Solitudes, I don't know if you need any subtleties. It's just all kind of tough. But these are just kind of some loose thoughts for what is a pretty complicated deck. Okay, so we're gonna take Spell Snare and then something. PRP mod for Armstrong, which will it be? Congratulations, first off. I think the only card that does anything, I guess. Should Hall be in Jeskai control? I don't think so. You need another win condition besides Flage so that you can win through main deck Graveyard Hate. But it's like Solitude, like 3 Solitudes are just enough. Like I might play the fourth Solitude over the first Subtlety, although I don't really like Solitude all that much right now. Sink into the Super is also unplayable in Just Guide. Like the mana is just too bad, I think. Also, only I don't know. Maybe you just have different philosophies about the mana. But you have two basic planes with invert polarity. I don't like this either. Like if you're gonna play invert polarity, don't play the second basic planes. I like my Just Guide mana base. I would recommend taking a look at that. Okay, fast game one. I'm going to bring in, I guess, a couple Lorens over a couple Fatal Push, and generally feel pretty good about this matchup. The Purges in the sideboard are really odd. I kind of like the Charmals. Oh, I would play 4 Wrath of Skies in the main deck, for sure. Card is just, like, I think so good, but maybe I'm wrong. And then Armstrong. Which will it be? Because you could be a VIP or a mod. Or VIP, I see. Okay. I include Arena in the latest challenge list, both first place with Just Guys Control. I wonder if it's right. Yeah, I mean, my inclination is that it's wrong, but I mean, it's a very high variance card, right? This is a card that is going to win you games because Escaping Flage stabilizes a little bit harder, and it's going to lose you games because Just Guys mana is really rough, and playing a land that only taps for red in a deck with Counterspell and Wrath Disguise is something that worries me. So yeah, I don't know. It's maybe not all that complicated, right? What should I have drawn? I guess I did Grief Ephemerate, the drawn opponent, huh? Take Tomio and Wrath Disguise, I think. And I can rebound Ephemerate on the counterspell or they can also just counter the Ephemerate. Do you like Arena more in blue-red? No, because like the reason to play Arena is because it's good with Flage. So I like Arena in Boros. I've been playing it in Mardu also, and it's okay there. In Boros, like also like hasting your Gigantha is like really relevant. In fact, I think you could maybe play one in Burn to haste your Gigantha in that deck, which I know sounds a little silly. Okay, I think we're gonna maybe get to Bowmaster Tomio after they sack a clue, because if they don't draw a land, they're gonna sack a clue this turn. Is Tomio necessary for Just Guy control? I think Tomio's very good in the deck. I don't think she's mandatory, but I've had her in my list, and she hasn't been one that I felt like is. She's not a card I want to cut. So they did draw a land for Flage. This is pretty problematic. I'm gonna revisit Mardu's scan package over Delirium packages, trying it online with good results. Probably not, because it's like this is my Mardu deck with with the scam package is kind of my thinking, or at least this is where I'm at right now for like Black White X scam, and then the Mardu build is my build for Mardu, and they're just kind of different decks. Is at least the way I'm thinking about it at the moment. Like at the very least, I think the stock like Mardu scam lists should really not play Guide of Souls, and they should play Nethergoyf instead. And like it just like a 1-for-1 swap probably is fine. But I also just think like the mana's awkward. I think like there's some weird stuff going on with the scam packages. There's like obviously like when you scam Grief, that is very good. But like the Ephemerates in general are not that good in the Mardu list, which is also something I think is pretty awkward. The Ephemerates are a lot better in this deck, so I don't know. Obviously, like the Mardu scam lists are fine, and there's a ton of ways that you can build this archetype and have it be fine. There's not a lot of like clearly wrong answers, if you know what I mean. I'm going to go Snapcaster and then just target the counterspell. Blue Black Nightmare with Satora and Scam is that good? I mean, I like we've trophied with that deck. I don't feel like it's one of the like the best decks we've played. No. Is there a line where you let them ultimate Tomio and Flash in Bowmaster? Probably not this game, but like maybe one day there would be a spot for that. So again, not going to play the sword into the counterspell. Need to dodge a red source. So I don't know. It's just like I don't think that those Mardu lists are awful or even like particularly bad, but I just don't think they're optimal. And it is just very hard to build Mardu in an optimal manner in general. And I at the moment I like DRC Bobble a good amount more than I like the Scam package in that deck. I think the DRC Bobble stuff felt awesome, and you could go back to Grief Scam if you wanted to. Why is wondering better Jeskai list than Wizards package? So it's like when you play the Ring, this is 4 top end cards on your mana curve. When you play the Flame of Venor package, it's like 8. Like to have 4 Snapcasters, 4 Flame of Venors raises your mana curve a lot. Oh, they drew Spell Snare. It's pretty good. I think it's just too high on the mana curve is the simple answer. But I don't think the Snap Flame is awful. Like it's a really reasonable way to go. But like the Ring is also just like so good with Flage, and it lets you play a lower mana curve, which feels really important at the moment. And so it's like when you play Snap Flame in the Izzet deck, your curve is also lower because you play Party Thrasher, you play Tamio, you're playing Unstable Amulet instead of Flage, but your curve is still higher here, and which is the entirety of the issue for me. What about Nadu Hammer? Nadu Hammer is the worst Nadu deck, but the best Hammer deck. Okay, so 4-1 this league with Orzhov. I like the Orzhov list. I think it's pretty cool. Don't know if I'm gonna play when I would play another league with it. Especially because I really wanna try out this Moonshaker Cavalry build of Mono White. I've also changed the sideboard, so where we have Suppression Field against Nadu, and I'll